Good morning, friends, and welcome back to She's At It Again. Hey, I found a recipe for some crab Rangoon dip, and I'm just wondering if it tastes as good as what I remember. I lived in Oklahoma City years ago, we lived in Oklahoma City years ago, and we used to go to a restaurant called Aloha Gardens, and I didn't care what was ordered for the entree. I wanted those crab Rangoons. They were so good. It didn't taste like ones at other places, and this was one of my first experiences with crab Rangoon, so everything else since then has been a disappointment. So I'm going to make this hoping it tastes like the ones at Aloha Gardens, but it's in dip form, so instead of using wonton wraps, which I can't find organic ones, and I don't want to mess with making them. They're just, yeah, anyway. So I made baguettes just the other day, and I've put those in the fridge to keep. We're going to slice those thin as little dippers for this, and we're going to see how good this is. So go with me as we try this for the first time. All right, the first thing we're going to do is over here at the sink. This is what I bought. Now the recipe called for lump crab meat. I could buy this, which was on sale for $9.99, or I could pay $27.99 for the lump crab meat, and honestly, the ingredients looked exactly the same. So since I have not tried this yet, I do not want to waste $30 on something that may not taste good. So I'd rather spend $9.99 on this just to see if it tastes good. So we're going to give it a shot. So I was excited that Kroger had it on sale. They don't always have it on sale, but they did. Here's what I'm looking for though. Wild caught. That's yeah. If it's not wild caught, I'm not interested in it no matter what. I don't care what it is. Okay, this is part of a broken potato masher gadgety thing that the handle broke off of, and I just couldn't throw this away because I knew it'd come in handy. And this is going to be perfect for this because you're supposed to take this and kind of pat it dry. Well, I'm not a big paper towel user. I probably buy one roll a year because I use disinfected rags for everything. And I just feel like paper towels are just so wasteful. So we're going to do it like this. I'm going to dump it out in this. There's some chunks to this. It's not just like scrappy looking things like I've seen before. All right, I'm going to take this, and here's a jar. This is my store-bought sauerkraut jar. And I'm going to push this down and see how much of this. Okay. Pressing it down, getting as much of the juice out as I can. Okay, I think that's pretty good. I think I got it dry. Look how pretty that looks. Okay, I know very, very little about crab meat. Now, neighbor Katie, she's from Maryland. She could probably give me the lowdown on this, and she might go, "Oh, Tanya, why did you buy that?" Sorry, Katie. I'm fixing to trick you with some crab Rangoon dip, and hopefully you won't notice the difference. So, okay, let's go over and get the other stuff mixed into it. All right, don't let the hand mixer worry you. You can do this with just a spatula, but my cream cheese is not softened that good yet, so I'm going to use a hand mixer. But again, you don't have to do a hand mixer. I'm just going to do this part in it, then I'll mix the rest of it with a spatula. Okay, that last part is just to basically knock it off the beaters, although it doesn't knock it all off, and I want all of it on there. So I just take my fingers and get it off. Now this will be as an appetizer before dinner tonight. And it is mid-morning right now. It's 10:25. And so I'll bake this off later on. So you'll see this part, and then the last part of the video will show what it looks like when it's baked off. This is served warm. And it says to serve with crackers or wonton crisps. Again, I have never seen an organic wonton. They all say non-GMO, but okay, yeah. A lot of things are. Well, not too many things. But again, I look for them every once in a while, but I've just never seen. I probably need to check at Whole Foods and just see if they do. But we don't have one in our town, of course, and that's a trip to Little Rock, and I just don't go that much. So someday maybe I'll look for them. But I think these baguettes are going to be perfect. I'm going to maybe brush them with some olive oil and bake them till they're crisp. That'll be nice. Okay, about a half teaspoon of salt and pepper, each salt and pepper. It just says salt and pepper to taste, so I'm guessing around a half teaspoon. This is a half cup of sour cream. And we need a tablespoon of sriracha. This is not your typical sriracha sauce. You probably realize that. This is sweetened with date syrup, so there's no processed sugar in this. So a tablespoon of sriracha. A tablespoon of coconut aminos. And chances are the recipe said soy sauce, but I'm changing it up because I'm the one eating it and I'm not a fan of soy sauce. I like the sweetness of the coconut aminos too. That's rather nice. A half teaspoon of garlic powder. We chopped up 3 green onions, just the green parts. We're going to dump that in there. Stir this around. I want to put my crab meat in last because I don't really want it breaking up into little teeny tiny pieces. I want some of those chunks to remain, but I am going to kind of pick it with my hands because I don't want a shell. I'm just, yeah. If you've ever come across a shell when you're eating something with crab meat in it, I don't know about you, but all I can think of is it feels like a fingernail in my mouth, and I am not dealing with that. So it just comes out as fast as it went in, and that's all I'm going to say about that. So we want to make sure ours is free from anything like that. I shredded 1 cup of mozzarella cheese. I had a 16-ounce block of it, so I just cut about 1/4 of it off and shredded that. So this is our freshly shredded mozzarella. We'll put that in the mix. I was going to use my fresh mozzarella that I normally use for pizzas, and it's very, very soft. There's no shredding to that. You can cut it into chunks or you can spread it. It's like a super thick cream cheese, but you're not going to shred that stuff. So I just went with the other kind. I buy that every once in a while just for applications like this. Certainly not to put on pizza as a regular occurrence. Okay, I'm looking over my list to make sure I have everything else in there. Cream cheese, sour cream, sriracha, coconut aminos, garlic powder, mozzarella, onions, salt and pepper. And the last thing we want to do is start putting this in. So I think what I want to do is kind of pick it out and just with my hands make sure. Oh, I see what they do. They put the chunky parts on the top and bottom so you can see them, and they put the shredded stuff in the center of the package. Yeah, I get it. But that's okay. That's a good chunky piece right there. Okay, I found a little piece of... Zoe, stop please. I found a little piece of that. It's not super hard, but it's basically a piece of cartilage, and I don't want that in there. The lights help because I can kind of see the shininess of it and dig it out, whereas sometimes my fingers can't feel it. And I would have done this ahead of time, but I want to show you the part where I took it out of the package and drained it with my broken potato masher. Teeny teeny tiny piece right there. It's funny because when I was looking for crab meat to buy, I was kind of checking out these websites and seeing which supermarket carried what. A lot of them just carried canned stuff, and I bought that before, and it's fine. But when I came across these at Kroger, and they didn't even have it on the website, shame on them. I'd have known right then I wanted it, but I was looking at reviews, and people were commenting on how much junk, and this is what I'm talking about, these pieces of cartilage and shell and things like that, that, I think it's cartilage, that they're finding in their crab meat, and they were saying, oh, it was just a carton full of shells. It was awful. I couldn't use it. I threw it out. And I'm like, okay, that's going a little overboard, but I certainly wouldn't want that. Okay. All right, this is kind of frustrating. You got this nice chunk right here, but it's got that little piece inside. Okay, I'm on to the trick now. That's one of those pieces I don't want to get in my mouth. Now I've got to pick through the whole thing and pick the big ones out. I won't make you endure that. I'll just turn the camera off and do that. Look at that. Yuck! Okay, I'm gonna look through these again. Okay, as you can see, it's in a different bowl. I picked through the whole thing, and I didn't find one more piece in there, so that's a good thing. So, Private Select at Kroger, yeah, they get a round of applause from me, that's for sure. Because I did not want to pick out a whole bunch of those things, and none of the rest of it had it in there. So this is an 8-ounce container. The recipe calls for 6 ounces, but you know what? I'm not going to set 2 ounces aside to do something else with. Chances are go bad in the fridge, and I'm not a waster of anything, as you know. So we're using all 8 ounces in here. I'm just going to gently stir this together. Almost like I'm stirring egg whites to make a meringue or something, or yeah, little meringue cookies. All right, I don't know if I'm supposed to oil this or not. You know what? I'm going to do it just in case. I can't even imagine a worst case scenario if I wasn't supposed to, so. This is just coconut oil. I'd rather coat it with oil and not need to, rather than need to and not coat it with oil. And I think, let me see how much this holds. This holds 24 ounces. I'm just going to cover this, put it in the fridge, and then this afternoon later on, I'll heat this up before dinner. And I need to call neighbor Katie and her family and ask them if they want to come join us for dinner. But if not, I'll take some over there and make her eat it anyway. Just so I can see what she thinks about the crab meat, because she's kind of a resident expert on crab meat. Coming from Maryland, I guess that's kind of a criteria. Well, that fit in there pretty perfectly. What do y'all think? It's a perfect amount. I want to get all of it off there. Okay. We're going to put this in the fridge, and then we'll be back, and I'll show you what it looks like after we bake it off, and then I'll let you know what it tastes like when I taste it with one of those little pieces of baguettes. So we'll be back. goodness, y'all, I almost forgot to take a video of this when I took it out of the oven. I'm waiting on my husband to get home so I can start the pizza. And then neighbor Katie and her family will see that my husband has pulled into the garage and they will come over. So I'm just waiting on them. There are our little toast. I have one in my hand and I'm going to dig into this. They don't care if there's some missing. So you see how cheesy and gooey that is. So I'm going to give that a taste, but I will spare you the noise because I have a microphone on. But just to say, ooh, it's stringy and cheesy. So hope y'all give this a try, guys. Thanks for watching. Bye.
Neighbor Katie approves.
Better be careful, you might not get it.
All right, it's the next day. You heard it for yourself. It's neighbor Katie approved. And they were happy I had it. She closed her eyes and said, it feels like I'm back at home, which she meant Maryland, which is where crab meat comes from. Well, most of it. This probably didn't, but she's used to eating crab and she knows what good crab tastes like. So I thought the dip was fabulous. I really didn't get a chance to eat it. We had pizza, we had Greek spaghetti, we had a big salad, and we also had a peach pie for dessert last night. So I didn't get a whole lot of the appetizer. They kept it down at the other end of the table for the most part, but I'll get to enjoy it later, and I'll take her some across the street too. So anyway, hope you give this a try. The recipe will be in the description as always, and we look forward to sharing some of that again with you real soon. Give it a try. Let me know what you think.